Love, land, blessings. You already know my name, Grace St. Patrick. Hey, people, finally managed to do what I've been wanting to do for eons. And it's even better that this whole thing should have happened a very, very long time ago. All right, introducing our co-host, man. Hey, Kings, man, tell the people about yourself, man.
Yo, what's up, Pete? This your boy Kings. Don't know what to say about me, love basketball, been a baller since the age of 13, 14, and I've loved it ever since, played for a couple teams in the UK, and yeah, baller at heart, love the game. So, so like my boy says, it's been a long time coming. So, it's here now, long overdue. So let's get to it.
So, this season, as you guys can see from the page, with us having a gaming channel, with us talking about basketball X and O's from a gaming perspective, I felt like it only made sense, again, to add the extra footwork, to actually make a show kind of dedicated to just talking basketball, because I think me and Kings, whenever we link up, that's what we talk about. We play the game, and I think we see the game from different eyes to the regular public. So I feel like from that perspective, especially this season, as a new tournament that's been announced, etc., it only felt right to officially start. So I was trying to think of the easiest way to start this episode 1. Hey, Kings, what are you thinking? How you want to start this? Should we look at the first week of the NBA thus far, and then we break it down from there?
Yeah, we can do that. Go through the first, what's your first thoughts of the NBA?
Oh, man. All right, so I'm going to officially put my first hands up moment, because this is not going to be no surprise if you know me, but I have to put my hands up because it's the first time we're on a platform. But if you know me, it's not any surprise.
Okay,
first one,
let me hear it.
LeBron is still the GOAT. LeBron, age 39, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 62% from the field. And all of this is all before we talk about the fact of everyone loves to say he's not clutch in the fourth quarter. And in the fourth quarter this season, he's averaging higher than that in terms of field goal percentage. On a team that, let's be honest, if everyone pulled their weight, should have a far better record. Because I think one thing so far in these first opening games is the Lakers have had a harder schedule. So I have to add that into effect. But it just made me look and say, considering the oldest person, I don't know if you know this, the oldest person to average more than 15 points. We won't even go 20 points. We'll go 15 points in the NBA.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is? 2 people that average at least 15 points at this old age.
15 points at this age. One person. Part of me's thinking Dirk.
Bingo, that's one.
That's the one's Dirk. Because he's always been a bucket. So
Facts.
One's Dirk. Second one, I'm gonna say probably. No, Wade retired early, so I can't even say Wade. I was gonna say Vince, but I wasn't sure if he averaged that much.
So Vince averaged, I'm saying both of them was like 17, I'm saying above 15 points. I heard a stat as well that again made me say, you know what? We need to start respecting, especially Bron, and then also some other points I'll get to later. Sometimes we forget, because of Bron's longevity, how much he's pushed the window of stars' expected potential at such a late age. So, for example, I think I saw something that between Bron, Steph, as well as those aging stars, they're leading a new wave of NBA that statistically what they're doing up past the age of 35 has never been done before. And in my head, I just think to myself, if that's the case, and we're still comparing every youngster to LeBron, that has a lot to be said. For example, we take Steph and KD. They came into the NBA in the 2010s? We're still comparing Bron to them. Bron came in 03. So for me, it's like the fact that every season comes in and it's still the same person that we look up, be it from how he reads the game, be it the minutes he's playing, be it just the IQ. For me, week 1, Bron is still the GOAT. All right, your turn.
What have I seen from the first week? I'm gonna start with my team because that's the only race I can start.
Of course.
The champs, the Denver Nuggets.
Oh
We
my God,
started
I knew this day would come.
you know, I want to start it like the same way we ended it. You know, we finished last season strong, and we
Yeah.
started this season strong. You know, 4 wins in a row. It was unfortunate we lost to Minnesota, but these things happen. I think it's just a case of we've got a few new guys in because we've lost. For me, one of our most integral pieces to last year, we lost Bruce Brown.
From what I've seen from you guys first, because that was my second point of what's really impressed me, and I hate to agree with you on this because I love to be on opposite fences. But the way your boys have come in this year, even losing Bruce Brown, it feels like people are stepping up, man, and that
Yeah,
is
I think
is a lot.
yeah, I think one of my bigger like so when we lost Bruce Brown, because I didn't want to lose him. When we lost him, my first thing was who's going to take his place? Like, who's going to fill that void?
Yeah.
And Christian Brown last year was showing that he could do stuff off the bench.
Yeah.
So hopefully, with more minutes, with more experience, with a ring behind him in his first year,
Yeah.
just like the rest of the team, he might have even more confidence now to really step into that role. So and plus, he's got a top 3 player in the league right now. So he's got a top 3 player in the league in Jokic. He's got, in my eyes, a top 20 player in the league in Jamal Murray, if not top 15.
I agree with that.
And he's got veterans like DeAndre Jordan still there, KCP still there, Reggie Jackson still there. Like, we've got guys that will help him kind of, you know, really mold him into the player that he can be. And yeah, all the other guys are gonna have to step up because, you know, Brown was definitely an integral part to our team last year. So, but I also feel that I think somewhere down the line, we are gonna make a trade. Because I think we are gonna.
That's a big take to start because I didn't think you guys needed any extra pieces. So
I feel we're gonna make a trade. I feel depending on what our rivals are doing and how strong they are, I think coming close to the trade deadline, you might see 1 or 2 pieces go to get enough because we need another string. We need another wing player. We need a really strong wing player. Just in case, like I said, it depends. If Brown hits the ground running and he fills that void, then maybe not. But if he struggles at certain points, then we might need to bring someone else in. But we'll see.
I was severely impressed with the Nuggets from last year. I think that was me. I think teams that have intrinsically a hustle mentality, I always want to support on the low. So from last year, I hated the fact that people even likened the Miami Heat to the Nuggets because I was like, yo, it clearly shows you did not watch no basketball the whole of last year because the gulf between the Miami Heat and the Nuggets is humongous. It's not close.
We've got probably if you were to pick the top 5 players out of the starting fives, we have most likely got 4 of the top 5 players.
Oh yeah. Like
Jokic is number 1, Jimmy, and then who's after? You've got Jamal, MCP, and no, Kate. You got Michael Porter Jr. and then you've got Aaron Gordon.
Man.
Like, it says it there, innit? So I knew we weren't going to lose. I knew we wasn't going to lose. It was a done deal.
It's probably one of the most things that impressed me, like super. Damn, I'm gonna have to go against Giannis right now. I feel for the 3rd year in a row that Joker has proven that he is the best player in the league. Now, LeBron to me is still the GOAT. I appreciate what Embiid has done and what he's doing, but I felt like it was a huge disrespect to not give it to Joker. And I felt like, especially watching how you guys destroyed everyone. And I think I said it to you privately, actually, when I was like, last year's playoffs, especially from the Western Conference, reminded me of the Western Conference that we grew up watching, where you beating someone in the first round held weight, especially the name you're beating. So last year, watching the weight at which, you know what I'm saying, the teams that you guys ran through, to me, had an easier matchup in the Heat that, again, great credit in them getting there. But I don't think people realize the machine that you guys are, I think this is another year where he will establish himself as, and probably should be 3-time or maybe even 4-time MVP. Because again, to start this season, he's currently averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds, and about 8 or 9 assists, shooting 65% from the field. So this season, that respect has to be given. And if it's not given, I can't lie, I love how you guys are coming to this season. I will just take it from you. so if we're going to talk about good point guards in the league currently, Jamal Murray to me has to be top 5, period. Because the way he goes about his business, utilization of bag, leading the team, like being a coach on the floor. I've always loved someone like a Chris Paul, but now, let's be honest, man, Jamal Murray in the last 3-4 years probably accomplished more than someone that we give the title of point guard to. So in this current generation of NBA, I had to respect that. But let me quickly just pause on the champions for a second and give you my next 2 things that I've noticed about this year so I can get through this list and then we just go and touch on the games. Number 1, Steph is still Steph. And number 2, and I hate to say this, but as a long-time potential, you know what I'm saying, because you know me already, I like to go by the name of the mayor of all things East, anything East London. I don't care if it's East this, East Conference, East Village, I want to be involved. So as a result, if you guys know me in a personal perspective, I grew up loving NBA because of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Once Bron left, I followed him wherever he went. But I still keep my eye up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the moment that Giannis became a Buck, being Nigerian, it just made sense, and Kings could back this up. And I've been here since most improved player. Telling everyone, hey, be careful. You know what I'm saying? So, but it brings me to this season. 4 games in, we finally managed to acquire a premier point guard in Dame Lillard, and the Bucks are 2-2. My biggest takeaway so far this season from watching the Bucks is Giannis. And this is, I'm going to look into the camera as I say this. Giannis, I love the fact that you want to make Dame feel comfortable, but it's your house. Yeah? Listen, Dame, you need to figure out how you're going to join the Mandem, because guys like Big Bobby and Brook Lopez, we're going to put in the work regardless. But if you're going to be a point guard, especially for the Bucks, and this is why I miss Drew Holiday, is the unspoken work of shifting the ball around in a Golden State manner to help everyone else get shots is the Bucks way. So as much as I love Dame being able to stretch the floor out and dribble the ball out by the 3-point line and go one-on-one, I also feel like it slowly takes away from a little bit of the things that make, 1, Giannis great, and 2, make the Bucks great. So for example, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I was like, first game, Dame put up amazing stats. Second game, it was horrendous. Third and fourth game, again, you can see that just like with the Lakers, they're trying to figure it out. But I don't want us being the Bucks to get into a habit of figuring it out, and now teams feel like, especially in the East, that they have our number. Because I feel like that's especially what's happened with the Heat this year to start. It feels like nobody respects the Heat at all. I think for me, correct me if I'm wrong, the Heat are 1-4. That being said, the Heat have had an interesting first 5 games compared to everyone else in terms of strength. But they should not be 1-4. And I feel like immediately no one respects the current roster the Heat have, which once they figure it out, I think they will actually end up being what Bron originally envisioned himself and AD. One person can really run the team, and the other person is the drive of the team. Yeah. It's a brand new season. The NBA is having, and I'm loving for us to have this conversation, because over here, we're used to these type of sporting formats, i.e. the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, you know what I'm saying? Situations like that in which, you're kind of doing this for your fan base, if we're really honest. Like, these are the cups that you're really doing for your fan base. And the NBA has decided that this year they're going to have an in-season tournament. So the NBA, I guess, tournament trophy, it's going to be 67 games, which is going to be, again, still counting towards your regular season record. So that's 1. And it's after everyone plays each other in their group. So, in fact, let me take it back. So for each conference, it's 3 groups of 5. Everyone plays each other once, and then all of the games that are being played that count towards the in-season cup are still going to count towards your regular season record. So that's one. So again, players are still playing the exact same amount of games for this season, in effect, right? So that's one thing. Besides the champion, I'm guessing, because then they'll end up playing quarterfinals, etc., and the finals. But it's only really 2 days. So realistically speaking, with back-to-backs, it kind of matches up. So that's one. Two, I think for me, I was on the same boat as you at first, and then I started looking at the rules, and I thought this could work. The reason why I thought it could work for the NBA is, yes, everything you mentioned, I agree with. It's a money grab. The NBA is finally looking over at Europe and realizing how important competitions are. They're also trying to figure out how to also build brand loyalty and fan loyalty with your own fans. Because again, with players moving so often, the fan experience is kind of getting lost. And I think taking European sports into, especially for us at least, something like the FA Cup, that after a while, there'll be some form of, again, I think it's a great, for me personally, that's why I kind of disagree a little bit. I think it will work. Because I think, for example, take teams that, let's say, for example, if the mid-season tournament, they pushed it further back, so it now was closer to the playoffs, I would have had an issue with that. Because I knew that players won't care about this. But I think it's also a great thing for us to have, because now, regular season games, some of them are important. So, for example, I think tonight's game, we have the Mavs facing off against someone, the Bucks facing off against someone as well. And I thought to myself, these instant season games will be kind of important because for the younger teams, which we'll get into, they would want to embarrass some of these established teams. But I feel like for the established teams, considering, like I said, the finals will be in December, still got half the season left at this point, I feel like a lot of players will see this as an opportunity to, again, stamp their name down. Same as with De'Aaron Fox last year with the Clutch Player of the Year award.
I don't think so. I think they will look at the schedule and they'll be like, you know what? Let's just be more focused on this. So there might be a game where they might be losing by 20 and they'll be like, know what, Steph, sit out. Know what, Chris Paul, sit out. Like, the game's done.
I hear
you. That could be an in-season tournament game.
True.
You know what I mean? So, let's go East.
For this in-season tournament, all players in the East. I don't care if you play for the 76ers, the Cavs, the Hawks, Pacers, Detroit, Milwaukee, Knicks, Miami, the Wizards, Hornets, Celtics, Nets, Toronto, the Bulls, and the Magic. All of you, man, wake up. Yeah? This is the first in-season tournament. I need the East to win this. Because, dog, like, the West is, everyone's gone over back to the West to go and make it that whole old school thing of the West being difficult. So I need all the young guns to come up and want to do something. So that being said, we've got first Group A. We've got Philadelphia 76ers, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit. Top two.
I go Sixers and I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. My, what's the word? Watch out for pick would be the Pacers. I think this year, Tyrese is taking that step up again. We're only speaking first week of the season. First week of the season alone.
Okay. My watch out pick wouldn't have been them. I can't lie.
Who would it be?
My watch out pick, weirdly enough, and I don't know why, but my watch out pick would have probably been Detroit.
Yeah. Going off of the first week of the season. Like how Tyrese and them, the matchups they've had the first week of the season, they put 140 something points on the first day of the season, which made me say, raw. Like, if you man are starting the season like that, even with Detroit, I think when I watched them play the first few games this season, it felt like, again, they're still trying to figure it out, as opposed to, like, for example, like, we look at OKC, where they already know who is who, and now they're trying to just, I guess, get consistent. All right, so Group B, we have the Bucks, the Knicks, the Heat, Washington, and the Hornets.
Oh, this one's easy for me. Bucks and Knicks.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Bucks and Knicks.
I would love to see Miami there, but I don't know, man. Like,
I would love to see them there as well, but I think this group, the Bucks and the Knicks are just, they're too strong.
Yeah, and it comes out to now what we're talking about, like which teams want to take this seriously. So I feel like for markets that you guys don't smell playoff success ever, I feel like they're gonna want to try. New York as a whole market, you know, we always hear them talk about New York's one of the biggest markets, etc.,
Yeah,
etc. Like, no, they haven't won in time, so I can imagine them putting effort. But hey, New York,
yeah.
I can't lie, man. Like, are you really putting your hopes in Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson? We're kind of talking about everything kind of in this little segment, but I love it still. Week 1, it was surprising to me considering Brandon Miller's there. I saw 1 or 2 games. I try to appreciate what it is that they're trying to build, but you can also see the dysfunction in the current state of the Hornets. Jordan not being
Yeah,
there, I was never a fan of Jordan anyway. As you guys can hear, I'm a LeBron fan. But Jordan, the GM, I think everything came to a head. Them selling the team again. When you watch them play, I expect so much from the melo that it's weird not seeing them be as great so far in the first week as I expect them to. But I
yeah.
also agree with you. I can see them again taking this in-season tournament very seriously. And in the last group, we have Group C, which is the Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, and the Orlando Magic.
So number one for me, without question, is Celtics.
I agree.
Without question. Number two for me, it's between the Bulls and the Nets.
Ooh.
The reason I'm saying the Bulls is because I like the Bulls. Like when DeMar moved to the Bulls, like I've been a massive fan of DeMar since he was at Toronto.
Mm,
When he joined the Bulls and I saw Levine there as well, I was like, these men are gonna make. When it was Levine, Lonzo,
yeah.
DeMar, Vucevic,
Nice.
like I was Caruso. I was like, this team's going all the way. Then
Yeah.
they got hit with injuries, and then it just started to fall apart. I
I agree.
think they could. I think they will. They will make it out of this because I'm a DeMar fan, and to me, DeMar is a great player as well. I'm going to
Facts.
go with Boston, and so I'm going to go Boston and Boston and Chicago. I'm making
Damn.
out of it. Boston and Chicago.
I think I'm kind of in agreement, you know. I think my only potential would be maybe again, I don't like supporting anything Jordan, man. So but I do love what Zach Levine's doing this year. He's leading the league in terms of 51 points scored already, even though it's again the Bulls, their current record this current season. Yeah, it's not that great so far after week 1, but they've had a tougher matchups compared to everyone else. And I think matchups
Yeah.
play a big part. But I think if not the Bulls, I'd go my wild card to be in this in-season tournament. The Orlando Magic, you know. I don't know what it is this first week of the season. They feel like again similar to a Spurs. Like or even like we can take it further back a few years ago. Where we looked at OKC and we thought they've got some youngsters there, you know.
Mm.
Like the Magic are giving me that. Paolo, again, subtly is taking the job of wanting to defend multiple positions across the paint. People like Franz Wagner and all those guys, they're shooting. And I won't lie, for a brief second, I thought to myself, hey, if these men get it together, and again, I think to your point about trades eventually once the deadlines come in, this is a squad that, again, people might not give the credit, but I think they might fight and be in contention. So
I don't know, but we'll see. We will see.
we will, we
We will.
will, we will. But I think the first game is tonight. So with that being said, let me see if I can go in and we can predict at least before we exit this tournament, what we believe will be tonight's scores. All right, let me see. Pull it up on. So tonight, Pacers Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Oh man, I hate going against my Cleveland Cavaliers, but do I want to pick the Pacers?
You picked them to go through.
It is. I did, so I have to stick with them. All right, the Pacers.
Exactly.
All right, Bucks Knicks. Hey,
I picked both. Hold on, how the hell? I'm gonna go Bucks.
hey. Listen,
I'm gonna go Bucks.
I ain't going against I ain't going against. You know what I'm saying?
I picked
The
Bucks. I picked Bucks. So yeah, Bucks
Yeah,
go
I'm
through.
in agreement with you. We've got the Heat versus the Wizards.
Don't really care, but I'll go Heat because
I
of
might go
Jimmy. I'll
Wizards.
go Heat.
I might go Wizards. Only reason why I'm going Wizards, people don't judge me for this, but this is my only reason for going for them, is at some point, Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, y'all bros need to figure it out. And if it ain't in this in-season competition, realize that from the end of this year, you man's stock is dropping expedition.
Dropping or it's dropped?
No. The reason why I say it's dropping is this is the beginning of them having their own team, which I think a lot of players don't realize. Once you are now tagged officially with that, if you fail, your next contracts, and again, prime example, Bradley Beal, John Wall, all these stars that, hey, in the right situation, you guys could have been something. Even Porzingis early on with the Knicks, your stock will drop and you're going to have to spend a few years trying to make it go back up. So Jordan Poole, after last year, techie. Kuzma, techie. And plus, reason why I say like I put them on the clock, yes, they're going to have time. You're both NBA champions. You're both NBA champions that believe that...
Barely.
Yeah, barely. But again, upon leaving your last two clubs, both of you believe that you deserve bigger roles on those teams, the Warriors and the Lakers, before you left.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Because you mentioned Bradley Beal, John Wall, and Kristaps Porzingis, right?
Yep.
As like they had their own teams, yeah.
Yep.
When John Wall and Bradley Beal were there, they were both All-Stars, and they both made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, all right? Over the time that they were there.
Yep.
Right? What the hell has Bradley Beal or Jordan Poole done to deserve this? This is my team.
Only reason why I say that it is that is the nature of the NBA business. On a personal level, I don't think either of them deserve to have the opportunity to have their own team as of yet. But I think from the nature of the business, and this is why you heard me say I have to give both Jordan Poole and Kuzma, I have to put you guys on the clock. Because the same, once you now are an NBA champion and you want to carry yourself with that level of air, then we have to also give you a certain level of the burdens that come with it. So, for example, him leaving or being pushed out, however you want to look at it, from Golden State, I feel like him and also how the press marketed the Wizards entering this season, they made it into a thing where this is Kuzma and Jordan Poole's team.
Yeah, you're giving them too much credit.
They're interested. I'm not saying that they are stars. I'm not saying that they deserve to be the face of the... I'm saying that this is how they're being presented to the league. So, again, from that presentation that the Wizards are giving us, I look at how you guys play, and I look at it and I'm like, yo, you man are going to struggle against Detroit, the Cavs.
They don't make it into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
They don't make the playoffs, and they don't make it to the in-season tournament, and they don't make it into the they don't make top 10.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think they're currently in the bottom half of the NBA standings right now, and to be honest, it's fair. There was too many times Kuzma as a champion with the Lakers. Other people have to save you, bro, because certain games you just weren't there, bro, or certain games you just missing assignments, but you end up a champion. I hear it. Same with Jordan Poole. Certain years you was important, or certain plays you're important, but then once you thought you was it, you started forgoing your actual duties. So far, I'm seeing that already with the Wizards. That's a problem to me. Because if both of you guys aren't going to do your duties, but want the star accolades, Kuzma, I don't care if you got lips on your head, bro. And I'm saying this with bass in my voice. So if you hear this, hey, it is what it is, my bro. I don't want to see lips on your head if you're not going to come out and put in a team leadership performance. So I think from those perspectives is why I'm not really a fan of the Wizards. Let's jump to the next game of the in-season tournament. We've got the Thunder versus the Warriors. You going Thunder?
Yeah.
Bulls, Nets?
I picked Bulls, so I'm going with Bulls.
And then we've got the Trailblazers, Grizzlies.
Pick the Grizzlies.
I'm picking the Trailblazers, but I can't even lie to you. Only reason why I'm picking the Trailblazers, though, is because it baffles me. Because if you can perform like this is what they expected from you for the Suns. DeAndre Ayton for the Trailblazers this year, statistically, and when you watch him play, and it's so bad to say this because when you watch the Suns play, Nurkic is an improvement on Ayton in the Sun system, but Ayton is an improvement on Nurkic in the Blazer system. Does that make sense?
It does.
It's just wild to me because then Ayton, if you're able to do that, you could have fully still been at the Suns, man.
No, he's not. Nah, not at all. Not at all. We'll get into that another day, but
Yeah,
all I will say is, as a baller, certain players ain't built for certain teams.
I hear it. I hear it.
So you can have all the ability in the world. If your mindset isn't built for that team,
Yeah,
the ability doesn't manifest itself. So
makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, Aiton should have been an all-star by now, but it is what it is.
To be honest,
Moving on.
yeah, I jumped off the Aiton bandwagon when I heard that his nickname was Dominating. Get the out of here. I have never
I
seen
mean,
man dominate where so that name needs to be changed expeditiously in the words of T.I., yeah. Immediately.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Next, I don't even want to talk about him.
Your Nuggets versus the Mavericks. Just briefly before you answer, what their current form is right now. The Mavs are
Okay.
4-0, and you guys are 4-1. You guys have had a tougher run of games. So, to be honest, I feel like your 4-1 is, to me, more impressive than the Mavs 4-0. But it's a tournament. It's the FA Cup, man. Like, so anything is possible. So, with that being said, first game of the group stages.
All right. So not only I'm gonna go a little bit mad.
Oh,
Not
God.
only are we winning this. Not only are we winning this.
Oh, God. I know you're going to be
I
disrespectful.
let me not. Actually, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'll say we're gonna win, and yeah, we'll win. We're gonna win. It's not gonna be easy. I'm lying. It's gonna be a little easy. Um, they don't have anyone to guard Jokic.
This is true.
They
This is
don't
true.
have anyone, and Jokic is gonna mess around and get a triple double by the third quarter, and then take the rest of the game off.
Mad. See, I can see that happening,
Uh,
yeah. But you know me, I love a good narrative. And also I also love going against your Nuggets.
so our starting five, right? We got Murray at point guard.
Yeah,
We got KCP at shooting guard.
yeah,
We got Michael Porter Jr. at small forward.
yeah,
We got Aaron Gordon at power forward.
yeah,
And we got the big man as a center. 6'2", 6'5",
yeah,
6'10",
yeah.
6'9", 7'4". It's the Dallas Mavericks. But they got Kyrie, who is a
Luca,
6'2". I think Kyrie's 6'3".
yeah.
You got Luca, who is probably a bigger point guard, which is
Josh
fair.
Green.
Forgive me if I sound too cocky, but we're winning by at least 15 tonight.
Damn. Hey guys, you're hearing
We're winning by at least 15.
this is the real Kingsley right here, yeah. Like, for as long as I've known, like certain players could say they're fans of certain teams. My man has been supporting, you know what I'm saying, Denver since Melo was there. So if you know, you know. Yeah, he's been this talkative about his Nuggets. But for the first time in a few years, man's doing it with bass in his voice because they're
Because we
champions, man.
won.
You know what I'm saying? So
We won.
I can't even say anything right now because
We're winning by,
they
we're winning by
champions.
15.
And he told me this at the start of last season. And I tried to fight it throughout the whole year and I had to join. So I think in terms of the in-season tournament, let's just round up by saying, again, now that we've kind of broken down a little bit of depth, expectations, man. Again, it's pretty much the next a 6-week competition. So what are you hoping to see from the rookies and the vets, just in general?
I'm looking for rookies. I'm not look to be fair. I'm not really looking at any of the rookies other than Wemby. Because the hype, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think the rookies are going to do what they do.
yeah,
I think the sophomores are going to be more interesting to look at.
yeah,
Like the Detroit sophomores in terms of Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. I
yeah,
think they're going to be like guys to really like put your hat on. No,
yeah.
Cunningham's not even a sophomore. Cunningham, I think, is in his third year
It's his
now.
third year,
So
but we
like
still put him in that young core group.
Jaden Ivey, he's for me, he's going to be one of those guys that are he's next up.
Yeah,
I think Wemby's the one that everyone's going to have their eye on and think, okay, is this going to be the next big thing? And from what I've seen so far, he hasn't disappointed.
facts.
I'm not gonna go far and be like, oh, he's gonna be the next LeBron or he's gonna be there. I'm not. I don't believe in all that BS
Yeah,
until the playoffs start. Unless he gets hurt or he's out of the lineup for like a couple of games,
yeah,
I don't see how he doesn't get Rookie of the Year. I think Rookie of the Year is like the base of what he gets this year.
I
I
agree.
think he'll be in contention for Defensive Player of the Year,
Facts.
and potentially he might even be an All-Star this year.
Oh no, I think for sure he's an all-star this year.
I don't think for sure. I think potentially, and it all depends on what he's doing as an individual
Yeah,
versus all of his contemporaries. Because remember, he's going to be in the West, and the
yeah,
West is tough.
yeah,
But it also depends on where his team is sitting.
yeah,
So if his team isn't, so like if his team is in the top 8 and he's doing 23-14 or 23-10 in his
yeah,
first season, he'll get it.
yeah.
If his team is bottom like 10th, 11th, and he's putting up those numbers, he might still get it. If his team is dead last, he's not getting it.
I saw this stat today and I thought, wow, like he will be an all-star by, I guess, the LeBron methods, which were historically, whether you want to vote for him, coaches or not, the public are going to vote him there and he's going to be there. So, for example, I saw today that Spurs, live views for the Spurs, especially overseas, are up 200%. In terms of
Mhm.
in the outside of America, he has the number 2 jersey in the world. Video views in terms of NBA related to Wemby have gone up 377 million. And this is from NBA Europe, by the way. So all those things let me know that if he continues to play as he's playing right now, or even if he ends the season or gets to all-star, you know what I'm saying, eligibility moments, and he's
Mhm.
averaging, let's just say, for argument's sake, 20, 20, 10, and 5, and 5 being blocks.
Mhm.
That plus the fan vote, he will be an all-star.
Yeah, I think it'll depend. I think because you gotta remember the way they do the All Stars is different. They do fan vote, player vote,
Then writers,
coaches,
yeah,
and writers or something like that. So it depends. It really does depend on how well he's playing. I mean, if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, it's going to be a no contest. I think it would depend on how he plays against other big men because I don't think he's played against an elite big man yet. He hasn't played against Joker.
nope, not
He
yet.
hasn't played against AD. He hasn't played against Joel. He hasn't. I don't even think he's played against Rudy.
He's only 5 games into his budding career, but I'll just read off some of the teams he's faced off so far, preseason and up until now. So his first game against the Thunder, Thunder won by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
This is preseason. Second game, again preseason against the Heat, they won, but again he's destroying his contemporaries in that category. They played the Rockets twice, calm, and then their
Mm-hmm.
last game was against the Warriors, which I thought was like his first real task, which is the last game before the season started. First game of the season, played the Mavericks team. They gave him a spanking. You know what I'm saying? But then the Mavs team just, again, that's why I said like it was interesting because they have a contention of bigs, but they really shoot the ball. So there's that. He played the Rockets again. I haven't seen them twice in preseason. He gave them smoke, expected. Then he faces the Clippers. This is without, because you have to talk about this. James Harden is now a Clipper, by the way. So people, that might be the next section after this. Um, Against the Clippers, a big loss. I think it was a 40-point loss to the Clippers. And then the last 2 games, they bounced back heavily, which is probably where I want to start right now. I'm not sure if you've seen the highlights or you watched the game, but for
Mm-hmm.
me, his last 2 games against the Suns were extremely impressive. Considering like I love watching him when he was in France. Again, you guys don't know, basketball is huge over here in Europe. So as much as, you know what I'm saying, the NBA talent don't respect or want to, you know what I'm saying, give the Euro League the love it deserves. I think for me, once I realized that, for example, the British Basketball League, our best enters the Euro Cup. So we're not even in the Euro League, which is, again, to put it into consideration, overall, Luca plays for Real Madrid. They're in the top division of the Euro League. You know what I'm saying? So if our best in the British, you know what I'm saying, we're in the Euro Cup, which is, again, for us, any British person watching, that's basically the Europa Cup of, and then, you know what I'm saying, where Luca was the Champions League. So Wemby and also Luca were playing in our equivalent of the Champions League. So watching him from there, I knew he had talent. Same with Luca. But again, it's always thinking, will the NBA give them enough time? I'll be honest with you, the first few games of the season, watching Wemby, it felt like a mixture of Pop saying, nah, we're not going to push you too far, as well as his teammates also, I guess, first few games, doubting whether he really is what he really is, which for me was weird as hell, because I was like, do none of you watch ball outside of American ball? But, and this is where we come back now, the last two games against the Suns. The first game against the Sun, again, they managed to squeak out a last-minute win by 1 point. Let's even look at that game. No Booker, KD, and the bench mob. So again, for me, it was a telling test for us to really, again, evaluate both teams. I've always felt the Suns' issue is you don't have a strong enough bench. And the rest of the mandem need to raise the level to match with KD, Book, and the soon-to-be coming in Bradley Beal. So at least we can have a rotation of at least 8 or 9 man. Let's even, we can push to 10. That'll be nice. Yeah, when these guys need a break, what happens next? So that first game against the Suns, I thought it was interesting because, again, there wasn't an expectation on KD to go out and be anything amazing. So I wanted to see which members of the Suns will actually come out. And again, I think it was interesting. Before the Clippers traded away James Harden, it was kind of a similar scenario where you had Joel Embiid facing off with the rest of his rookies, Tyrese Maxey and all sorts. And you saw Maxey, the rest of the guys all step up. And I thought, you know what? Their bench is better than I thought it was. So I think that first game made me want to look at the Suns and say, where are you at in terms of your bench, your whole roster? Again, coach is trying to make you guys run because I think their coach is Frank Vogel. So I wanted to see how defensive you're going to match up. So the fact that the Spurs managed to eke out a last-minute win, and it was not a pretty game at all, for me said a lot about the Suns' bench. So that was why I said it was. I watched it from that perspective. Why for you did you think, yeah, nah, this ain't it?
Because Bradley's not healthy. Until for me, I don't judge. I'm not gonna judge them until I see all three of them playing at the exact same time. Until I see their strongest starting five and their strongest starting five playing at least 10 games or 12 games, I think I'm not going to judge them because their bench is decent. I feel like their bench is okay, but again, you've got bench players starting.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So I think it's unfair to be like, because the bench guy knows I'm only going to get like 4 or 5 shots. So my man putting up 10 shots isn't realistic for him.
But my only reason for saying but, and I'm throwing this to you because you are a Nuggets fan. Your club proved the importance of having guys that, irrespective of the minutes they're supposed to be making, whenever they come on, whatever the situation, you at least match up the intensity of the player before you. That's one thing I don't see the Suns have for every position, at least from starting five.
Because their starting five isn't solidified. Because if you look at it from our perspective, our starting five was solidified from preseason.
True.
Like we knew he was starting. We knew he was going to be our 6th man. We knew he was going to be our 7th man. Like we knew it was going to be our starting five was going to be when Jamal. Because remember, Jamal came back this year.
Yeah, he did.
Like when Jamal came back, we knew it was going to be Jamal, KCP, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Joker. We knew that was going to be our starting five. Yep. So when Bruce Brown came off the bench, he knew he was going to get a certain amount of minutes.
Yeah.
When Christian Brown came off the bench, he knew he had to bring a certain sort of energy. And stuff like that. I feel like with this team, they haven't had their starting five that they're going. They didn't have their starting five in preseason.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the starting five started in preseason.
Yeah.
and they didn't have their bench. They had bench players playing in the starting five. Until their starting five legitimately play together for like 10 games, and their bench players come off the bench properly, it's gonna be a little bit of a mishmash.
True.
Once that starting five is legit and their bench is legit, you're gonna see a difference.
Again, in the comment sections, let us know what your thoughts are on this as well. Let's talk X and O's for a second. Watching the Spurs play, I thought it was interesting that, because again, for years I always liked Porzingis. Side note, I think it was a great signing to the Celtics. They needed Porzingis, and Porzingis looks like the Porzingis that I used to back in the day say, this is what the future of the power forward and center market looks like. But with that being said, I think it was interesting because the Spurs have Collins at center, and I think it's interesting they rotate their centers and they keep Wemby playing 4 and playing like as a lock, because I think one thing that people aren't too sure on and are surprised at is how well Wemby can guard the 3-point line. So, for example, in games, especially yesterday, where teams felt that they can run a mismatch, it then eventually happened that they would have to bring the ball back and try to go at Wemby, which was too late. So, for example, Collins was making baskets. Vassell was able to now work off that as well. So the question now for me is now, and I'm asking you as well, is if Wemby continues to stick at and play at the position 4 for the foreseeable future, does he then really need to go against the centers? When you watch him play, he's more so guarding the perimeter and then being like the old school of Bron and coming in from the backside to help out. I was impressed by that. Personally, I was like, not a lot of guys can do that. Of course, like everyone wants to play 4 because it suits them. But I feel like he plays 4 wanting to do the job of a 4 and defend the perimeter, but also want to come back. So my question to you would be, how do you think his game needs to improve before he meets the top 5 centers of the league? Because again, if he's going to play 4, I think he might run into the same problem as AD, which is you might want to play 4, but other teams will scheme around to make sure that you land on the big and they take away some of your strengths. So what do you think he needs to do to really improve before he meets the top 5 bigs?
Yeah, I think you've asked like a 2-part question. I think him playing 5 games he's done well, and I think he's going to continue to do well. I think it's hard to assess his ceiling right now. There is no ceiling for him.
Yeah.
But for me, in order to be notified as probably one of the best, you're gonna have to as much as we say he's gonna play 4, you don't think Rudy will guard him. Like they will put Rudy on Victor. They will put Embiid on Victor. They will put Jokic on Victor. So it doesn't matter what position he plays.
Yeah.
It matters who's defending him.
Yeah.
And they will make it to a point where they will scheme where he now has to defend a bigger player. First of all, this is his first year.
Yeah.
He will get away with certain moves because they haven't scouted him yet.
Facts.
Next season is when you're going to see the real, all right, has he really improved? Has he done this?
Yeah.
But this season, I'm saying, you're going to see how great he is once he plays against the other big men.
Agreed.
Once he plays against a Cat, who to me, he's okay, but to me, he's not an elite big man. Once he plays against Gobert. In fact, playing against Minnesota is going to really show how good he is because you're going to have Cat and Rudy there.
Yeah, yeah.
Jokic is another one. Embiid, another one. Capella is going to, once he starts playing the real big, like Jaren Jackson at the Grizzlies, once he starts playing these premier big men, then we will see, okay, the same thing with Chet from OKC.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, he's this unicorn. It's it's true. However, we ain't seen him play against his big men yet.
Let's quickly just touch on it because I think you and I are both kind of fed up of Mr. James Harden in general. I think he's an amazing player. I think for me, especially as a player in real life, I steal a lot of his game of slowing down and speeding up, etc., etc. But James Harden, sometimes I just think, oh, it's just too much. But I also like the life of, I probably don't know anything. So certain conversations I'm not privy to. But what I do see sometimes makes James Harden the player have a sour taste in your mouth. I say that to say, it's now his 4th team since 2021. He's now LA Clipper.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts? What are the expectations of the Clippers now? Does that also now mean that the Clippers are now, or should be, thrown into that they should be title contenders? Because with that level of talent on your team, if we don't call you contenders, then like, what is going on here? So, what's your take on James Harden to the Clippers, their roster, and just in general? Like,
first take, it's not going to work. Second take is he should have stayed. Like the Kyrie, James, KD experiment in Brooklyn was the final chance for James Harden to win a title. It was the final chance. I think him going to Embiid, there was potential. However, they still had to deal with Giannis.
Yep.
They still had to deal with Giannis. Now, even though when there was Brooklyn and they had to deal with Giannis, there was 3 of them at least. So they could outshoot anyone. When you've gone to Philly, there's only you and Embiid.
Yeah.
And we already know about James Harden in the playoffs at times.
Fact.
So now you've gone to the Clippers where Kawhi hasn't looked the same since Toronto.
Nope.
Paul George, as much as I love him as a player, hasn't been healthy.
Nope.
And Westbrook, as much as I love him as a player as well,
wildly inefficient.
If you kept those 3 together,
yeah,
by themselves, there was a possibility of them going far because they know their positions. They know Russell's playing the 1. You can put PG at the 2.
Yeah.
You can put White at the 3, and then you've got Zubac at the 5, and then you can put someone at the 4. You now having James there, if all 4 of you are starting, which I think it can in a weird way it can work because PG can play 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Kawhi can play 3 and 4. It can work in a very weird way. However, it'll work great. It'll look great in the season, but when it gets to playoff time, it's not gonna look good. So, like, I don't think it'll work.
My point for why I don't think it's gonna work is not so much them, but again, I love the center play. So for me, the problem with the Clippers is when Zubac comes off, your next man up is, correct me if I'm wrong, Mason Plumlee?
Mason. And to be fair, Mason's
that's not good enough to me.
Mason's a decent player coming off the bench because he played for us. And I was a big fan of his because he kept it simple. So he's a good player coming off the bench. However, playoff time, it's not enough. There's not enough shooting to go around for Kawhi, PG, James, and Westbrook.
But here's what I think might work though. If anything, let's take away all the negative press that James has been getting, etc., etc. The one thing I think he's done really well is finally accepted that his style of play, when he thinks about others, he can eat 10 assists without thinking. In my head, I think if he comes to the Clippers and thinks to himself, again, because I think that's why he's going to always have a contract. Same with LeBron. Like, LeBron will always help you to keep possession. So, again, if you have that guy on the floor, it's like having a quarterback. It's necessary. So I think if James can improve his quarterback tendencies and actually help lead them and say, all right, irrespective of anything else, just like with the 76ers, I want to get at least 10 assists, then I think it could work. But let's put a pin in that. I think I saw an article this morning from James himself when he said, I'm paraphrasing by the way, he said a big reason for why he left the 76ers was, again, other things involved, but I think the grabbing quote was, they tried to make me a part of the system when I am the system.
That's the reason why he's not going to win.
Yeah.
That's like, at the end of the day, the fact that you feel like you're the system so you was the system at Houston, it didn't work. And I think people are forgetting, right? While he was at Houston, he had Dwight Howard, it didn't work.
Nope.
He then got rid of Dwight and got Chris Paul, it didn't work. He then got rid of Chris Paul, brought in Russell, it didn't work.
Yeah.
He then left Houston, and this is what people forget about. They had John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins coming back while James was there.
Yep. True.
Potentially could have worked, but whatever. He's then gone to Brooklyn. He's got now Kyrie and KD. And due to injuries and unavailability, it didn't work. He's now gone to Embiid for a season and a half. It didn't work. You were the system. You was the system in Houston for four with three different guys.
Yeah.
You were a part of a system in Brooklyn. You're now saying that they made you try to play a part of the system well, of course, because Joel's the main guy there. What do you think's happening? What do you think is going to happen in at Clippers?
And I think this is a key point. We have to look at the Clippers as well, which I think is another reason why I think it could work. All four of those gentlemen you just mentioned are all from California. This is like them playing, like for us in the UK, this is like all the man them from ends ended up playing for West Ham.
Nope. Damn. I don't think that now. I personally think it's over for him.
Damn.
I think it's over.
But I think, to be honest, in terms of the first week of NBA, I think we touched on pretty much everything, to be fair, man. Is there anything I've missed out, bro, that we haven't touched off this year?
Nah, we've pretty much touched on everything.
Like I said, me and Kings have been wanting to do this for years, so at least being able to touch down every week, I get to see my brother, say hello, you know what I'm saying, catch up, bro's no longer in the ends anymore, so I don't get to see man as often as possible. But you get to catch up. But at the same time, I think it'd be dope for us to use as an opportunity to bring in different people also. So yeah, man, Kingsley, let everyone know your socials, where they can mostly find you at. Yeah, man, all that good stuff.
I'm a ghost, so my social
come on, that's two of us.
And it's gonna stay like that until I decide to reappear.
East London in the building.
That's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna stay. And you need to see my face. It'll be here.
As always, man. Please, you already know. This is the cave. We need to figure out a name for what we're gonna call this. Kings, we have to figure that out as well. But I didn't really care about all that stuff. I just wanted to be able to at least start this so we can at least know that at least every weekend there's basketball content that you guys can digest. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all that great stuff. And yeah, man, let me know what team you are looking forward to seeing be dominant, who you're rooting for in the in-season competitions. And last but not least, yeah, man, if you still believe that Michael Jordan is still the GOAT, man, hey, get out of here, man. That's how I'm ending episode 1. If you still believe Michael Jordan is the GOAT, get out of here. Because I don't know anyone that's 39 that can give me 21 years of this level of body of work, and we still only keep talking about 6 years. Kings, fair? I think that's fair, no?
We'll talk about this on another day.
Yeah. If you have issues with me, please hit me in the comments below. This is what we call engagement. So yeah, I'm going to rile you up on purpose. Because I don't respect my man. But I'll gladly explain myself. But that being said, people, love as always. Radio, my name, Grace St. Patrick. King's right there. Aye, we out.